Couldn't be more excited about this class. First and foremost, I want to thank our football staff, our athletic administration, and our admission department. To get a class of the caliber that we're trying to get, to bring the best of the best to Carnegie Mellon University, it's that constant communication that we work on to get the best here. And so as we've refined our process, whether it's the research and identification part of the process, evaluations, going to camps for in-person evaluations, and then finally for visits, that open communication that we have with our staff, with our administration, and our admission department is what made this process special and why we're really excited about this group. When we look at the group, we really felt like we hit on everything that we were looking for, whether that was depth, numbers, talent. Everywhere we felt like we checked the boxes for what we were looking for. And I think what really excites us about this class is we've reestablished what a new ceiling and a new floor looks like for an incoming class here at Carnegie Mellon. And I know that this group is going to do a great job of coming into our culture, making our program better, and most importantly, competing. So first off, I want to talk about some highlights of the class as a whole. We have 31 incoming student athletes, and they're going to be representing 4 of our colleges. The Tepper School of Business, the Carnegie Institute of Technology, the School of Computer Science, and the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Our recruits are coming in from 15 different states, but still had some things that were really important to us in that. With Carnegie Mellon being as national as it is, we still wanted to make sure we hit on some really big football hotbeds. So we're able to get guys from states like Texas, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, New Jersey, and then the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. We also don't want to lose out on some of the best homegrown talent here in our backyard, and so we're really excited that we have 6 young men coming from the state of Pennsylvania. When you look at the individual makeup of the group, you can really see why some of these young men are special. First off, talk about leadership and leaders in the group. 22 of these young men were captains of their high school teams, and 4 of them actually were multi-year captains. Athletic. It's getting harder and harder to find multi-sport athletes. 26 of the 31 young men were multi-sport varsity athletes in high school. Winners. Trying to attract guys from winning programs. And then finally, just talented. 27 all-conference recognitions from the group, 16 all-district, region, area, and then finally 6 all-state honorees in the group. Moving to the offensive side of the ball and starting kind of what our emphasis was. We wanted to keep building depth at the offensive line. And then also we had a lot of senior receivers graduate this year. So those are the 2 things that we really wanted to hit on this year, but also we didn't want to sacrifice finding players that were versatile, explosive, and tough. We think that those are things that are really important. And when we look at the offensive line, I think that they're a group that really personifies that. So we have 6 O-linemen coming in, 5 freshmen and 1 transfer. We have Zach, Trey, Sean, Connor, Jack, and Charlie. This is a strong and big group. They have tons of length and they're super athletic. And that's something that you don't always say about your O-line, how athletic they are. And when you look at the group, all 6 were multi-year starters. 5 of the 6 were multi-sport varsity athletes, and 4 of the 6 were wrestlers, which really hits on the toughness, flexibility, and movement skills we're looking for in this group. The second group that we really wanted to place an emphasis on the offensive side of the ball was our wide receivers. We had 7 senior receivers that are graduating. So to balance our roster properly, we really needed to go out and not only find numbers, but talent, and talent that can compete really quickly. And we think we did that with this group. Sam, Cooper, James, Luca, Jason, and Carter are all very different guys, but there's kind of 2 things that really ring true with this group. The length that we have on the outside. Guys that are going to really stress corners in our league and hopefully on the national level. Guys that are long, have great balance, great ball skills. And then when we move to the slot, the guys that we brought in the slot are just flat out fast. And they're going to be able to help us in the return game as well. And so as we kind of build our roster out, especially with 2 classes in a row that we really think we've hit really well with the wide receivers, we're excited about this group and how they can compete immediately to help us on the field. So moving to the backfield, We're really lucky that we have a lot of our running backs returning and a lot of talent. So we wanted to be really patient in the process and find the right guy, especially knowing that we would only bring in one this year. And we think we found that with Athen. Athen comes from Arizona, is a really athletic and tough kid. Three-sport varsity athlete in football, wrestling, and track. You really see the athleticism come through on the film in all three phases of what you ask a running back to do. Whether he's carrying the ball, being a pass catcher, or blocking, you see that athleticism come through, and why we're really excited to have him add into a really talented group of running backs that we already have on the roster. So a quarterback, very similar to running back, we wanted to be really precise and go get our one guy, and we did that with Jackson. He was our first offer, and no matter what time it was in the process, he was always at the top of our board. We saw him multiple times at different camps throughout the summer, and one of the things that really stood out to us every time we saw him was how his leadership and his personality was contagious. And we thought he had those intricacies that could make him a great quarterback at this level. He's a super athletic two-sport athlete, playing both football and baseball. And coming from playing against some of the best competition in the state of Texas, we know that he's going to fit in great in our quarterback room and help us build and compete towards the future. Looking at our specialists, this year we brought in two guys that primarily are punters, but they will be able to help us in the place kicking game as well. We have Benton and Joaquin. Both were really highly rated by national kicking schools like Coles and Sailors, and actually Benton was ranked the #1 punter in the state of Washington his senior year. With us graduating, two starting punters 2 years in a row, we definitely think that these two can come in and compete immediately for the starting spot. So shifting over to defense and our points of emphasis, very similar to the offense, we wanted to build depth at the defensive line, and something I think that we did a really good job at. Outside of that, we wanted to be really versatile and athletic at both linebacker and defensive back, with guys that may be able to play multiple positions and definitely help us on special teams as well. What really sticks out when I look at this group and you watch their high school film is just how dominant they were in all three phases of the game. You see guys that are going to be corners for us that are scoring touchdowns at running back. You see guys that are playing D-line being dominant at O-line. You see guys that are at linebacker making plays on the offensive side of the ball as well. So it's really exciting to have such an athletic group, and yet again, I think we really hit on our points of emphasis. So with that in mind, really looking at the defensive line as kind of the beginning of our class and the big point of emphasis. We knew depth was important, and so we went and got 6 D linemen. We have Eric, Ryan, Alex, Mike, and Javada coming in. What really sticks out is you kind of divide the group into 2 groups, is you take the interior D linemen first. The guys are going to kind of play on the inside, and they're big, and they're strong. And one thing that really shows up in film is their ability to not only hold gaps, but reestablish the line of scrimmage, which will be really, really important for our linebacking core. When you look on the edges at D end, really long and super twitchy. One really cool thing looking at our D end class is every single one of them were multi-sport athletes in high school as well. So really a great athletic upgrade on the outsides, which we're really excited about. There's guys of different lengths there, but overall, lots of long-armed guys and guys that can really get off the ball, which will create some great rush on the quarterback, but also set new edges for us to spill things back into those backers and D linemen. So moving back to the linebackers, we have 4 young men coming in, and this group is by far the longest and most explosive that we've recruited here. We've had some really high-end linebacker play the last few years, and really excited about this group to learn and grow under some of our more veteran leadership in the linebacking core. So with our 4, we have Robbie, Luke, Ty, and Jack. When you look at these guys, it's just really impressive how dominant they were on both sides of the ball, both offense and defense. When you look at their defensive tape, whether it's on the line of scrimmage, in space, playing in coverage, they just really excel. And what really is cool about this group is all 4, in our opinion, could play multiple positions on defense. And so there's some great versatility in the group that we think can really help us on special teams quickly, but also know that when we're going to put the best guys on the field, we're going to be able to have some flexibility to move some guys around in this group because of their variety of skills that they bring to the table. Now moving back to the defensive backs, very similar to the linebacking crew, these 5 young men can play multiple positions. on the defensive side of the ball, in the defensive backfield, maybe even moving down towards the box. But you see the athleticism on field in all three phases. So the 5 we have coming in are Dom, Darius, Jack, Roman, and Victor. 4 of the 5 guys played multiple sports in high school, hitting back on that athleticism. And when you watch their films, you do see all 3 phases showing up. You see, guys blocking punts. You see guys running for touchdowns. You see guys making huge hits on defense. So really excited about the overall athleticism and versatility of this group. With us graduating a lot of defensive backs in this next class, this group is going to be really important to the overall success and the future success of our defense. And so we think this is a group that's definitely up to the standard of what we have on our defense and has all those athletic tools to grow and be a huge impact on our program looking forward. So again, I want to really thank our staff. I thought this was an amazing team effort to bring this class in. And when you look at all the needs that we had, we really felt like we hit them all, and really, really proud of the culmination of that effort as a whole staff. I'm really impressed with this group of how connected they are already. We've talked a lot about here how strong our culture is, and you can really see in this group how connected they already are together. They've already found each other so much on social media, here on visits, and you can really see kind of that camaraderie in the group. And because of that, I think they're going to fit really well in the present culture that we have here at Carnegie Mellon. They're very aware of the standards which we've set for this program. We have goals to be one of the best programs in the country. Whether that's athletic, academic, social, that's what we want here. And they're very up for that challenge. And that's exactly the type of young men that we want in our program. So really, really excited about their buy-in already and being a part of what we're trying to build. I can't wait to see this group compete in August. We'll be here soon and really excited for the 2024 season.